Alright. Today is day 50 of the carnivore diet for me. Yeah, I've been on the carnivore diet for 50 days officially today. And that's really exciting. I mean, I feel like time has really just flown and also gone super slow at the same time, if that makes any sense. Like, I mean, it's been just over 7 weeks now, and it kind of feels like I just barely started, you know? I feel like I'm still getting the hang of things, and I'm still trying to learn how to do things properly. But I mean, I don't know, it's been 50 days now and things have been pretty good. First of all, I just want to say I reached 1K subscribers on YouTube, and that's so exciting, and I would just like to thank everybody who's been subscribing, and I'd like to thank Carrie and Emma again for shouting out my YouTube channel. I definitely would not have reached 1,000 subscribers as quick as I did without you guys, so thank you guys so much for that again. I'd like to thank everybody who's just subscribed, and you are all so supportive. Everybody's been leaving the nicest comments, hyping me up and giving me support, and it's just, you guys are all so nice, and I really appreciate you all. So yeah, it's been 50 days today. I started the carnivore diet on June 21st of this year, and I believe it's been 50 days. I've counted it out. I just wanted to make another update video. I know I made one a couple days ago on my 48th day, but I mean 50 is kind of a big milestone, you know, it's a big number. So I wanted to make a special video to commemorate it, and I kind of just wanted to go over my whole experience with carnivore, is like how it's been going for the whole 50 days. Honestly, I think that things for me are just so much better on carnivore compared to how they were before. Because, you know, I'm anorexic, and before I was severely malnourished, and I was on the verge of going back to the hospital. So it was either going back to the hospital or starting carnivore, and so I started carnivore, and so far I think it's really helped make some improvements both physically and mentally for me. Some of the benefits that I've noticed are I've felt way more energized. Like, I have so much more energy throughout the day. I'm able to sustain myself between meals, and I'm not slogging through the day. I've been going on walks with my parents, and I feel like I can sustain myself throughout the walks, and I've been going to CrossFit, and oh my goodness, CrossFit, that's another thing too, because my workouts, they've been getting so much better on carnivore. I'm able to do so much more, and I'm just like, during the workouts, I'm able to do so much, and I'm able to do a lot more than I was when I wasn't eating enough. So that's a huge improvement. My skin, it's a lot better. So I have a skin condition called eczema. So there was always like dry, itchy patches on my skin, at least somewhere on my body, always, like, constantly. And so just a few days into carnivore, my eczema was pretty much gone. Like, my skin started feeling super duper soft, and I don't really have eczema anywhere on my body anymore, which is like the first time that's ever happened in my life. So that's another improvement that I'm really grateful for. I've also been feeling a lot less anxious on carnivore as well. So before going carnivore, I was pretty much constantly anxious, always thinking about food and always about the next meal and what I would be eating next, you know? And I'm just finding that, like, I'm not worrying as much about things as I was before, and I'm not worried about the next meal, and my anxiety is just a lot better overall, I think.
When you do get anxious, what's the differences that you notice between before going on carnivore and after?
So the anxiety is coming a lot less often, but there are still times when I do get anxious. I think that's just a part of life, but when the anxiety does come, I do find it a little bit easier to get over the anxiety and to dwell on it less. So yes, I do still get anxious sometimes, but I feel like it's a lot easier to think through things more objectively and to be able to consider things from different perspectives instead of, you know, the way was kind of set into thinking of them.
And that was because of the eating disorder?
Yes.
it was kind of the overriding concern that it's like that was always in the forefront of your mind.
So I guess the eating disorder was always just, before, the eating disorder was always just kind of taking precedence in my mind, but now it's easier to kind of set those aside and to let myself be in control. I feel like I'm more in control of my emotions now. It's much less of the eating disorder controlling me now, and it's a lot more of me being able to make my own decisions, not based off of food or my anxieties. Kind of going off of that, I'm a lot less compulsive and I'm a lot more flexible now as well when it comes to things that I feel like I need to do. Because before, my eating disorder made me feel like I needed to control everything, and I still do kind of feel like that, but one of the ways that I kind of felt like I could control things was by cleaning up the kitchen every night and making sure it was clean. So every single night I would obsessively clean the kitchen, you know, unload the dishwasher, wipe everything down, sweep all the floor, and just make sure that everything is just absolutely as clean as it can be. And I was really, really rigid in that, and if anybody came into the kitchen afterward to, heaven forbid, get food or get a dish out, I would flip my lid at them. Now, I feel like I don't have to clean up the kitchen every night. Like, there are nights when me and my parents will go on walks and I won't have time to clean up the kitchen before, like, needing to go to bed or something, and I'll feel fine about it. I don't feel unaccomplished because I didn't clean up the kitchen. I don't know, it's so great that I don't feel like I have to clean up the kitchen anymore. I'm able to make more changes in my schedule, like be more flexible, you know? Before, if there was like something that came up and what I had planned wasn't actually what I was gonna get to do anymore, like my plans fell through and we'd have to, like, you know, improvise or do something else, I would get really upset about that too. And I'm able to be a lot more flexible. Like, if I have an appointment change or if I'm not able to do something when I planned it, I can be flexible and go with it. And that's something that's a lot better as well. I mean, it's good to do things like you plan them, but it's also really good to be able to adapt when things don't go to plan. Being on carnivore is something that has really helped me be able to adapt and be more flexible.
What about, I mean, you kind of addressed this, but changes in your routine used to upset you a lot more. Like, you know, if you had to interrupt something that you would normally do throughout the day.
Yeah, so when I do get really compulsive, I get really regimented, and I have like a schedule that I like to stick to, like, every single day. And before, with my eating disorder, like, say if I didn't eat at the time that I wanted to eat, I would get like really, really upset because I wanted to stick to my schedule. My schedule was key, you know?
That was your control.
Yeah, my schedule was my control, and so if I didn't get to stick to my schedule, then that was like the end of the world. But now, if something in my schedule if something gets off in my schedule, it's not as big of a deal to me anymore. My hair has been growing faster. I went to see my hairdresser on Thursday. She saw me before. She saw me on my first day of carnivore, actually. I went to a hair appointment that she had with my mom. I was at the hair appointment this last Thursday, and she was just saying, you have so much new growth on your scalp. And because before, my hair was actually like getting really thin and kind of starting to fall out because of my malnutrition. And so it's great to hear that my hair is growing, my scalp is getting healthier, and my hair has just been growing faster as well, so I'm having to shave a bit more often than I usually did.
Your face, right?
What?
Your face, right?
Yeah, I'm shaving my face.
No.
So I feel much calmer as well. I feel like my emotions are a lot more stable, because before I was kind of all over the place with my emotions. Like, I'd be okay one moment, and then something would happen, and then things would just kind of quickly fall apart from there. But now I feel like my emotions are a lot smoother. They're less jagged, if that makes any sense. It's less of a, it's more of a woo, you know? And another thing is I'm able to eat a lot more and feel a lot less bad about it. I've been eating pretty much mainly fatty meat, right? And before my eating disorder, the thought of that would have made me go crazy. I was afraid of fat for the longest time.
Been programmed.
Yeah, I've been programmed to fear fat. And I eat like a huge ribeye steak, like 1.5 pounds of ribeye steak, and I don't feel bad about it. It's so bizarre to me. I don't know, it's just I can eat so much meat and not feel bad about it, whereas before if I had eaten a large meal that was like mainly carbs, usually I would feel really bad about it afterwards, but I eat a really big meal of fatty meat and I feel great afterwards, and I feel calm and I feel full and satiated.
What was the factor? What was your pivot point on that one? What made you change your mind about the fatty meat?
Well, I think it took a little while for it to sort of click for me that fat and meat is not bad for you. Like, it was kind of a slow transition, if that makes any sense. But I think one thing that did help me kind of come to that conclusion is that it tastes good. It tastes really good. The reason our bodies crave fatty red meat is because it's good for us, right? And it makes you feel good. And just the fact that I feel good after eating the fatty meat, that's something that also helped me realize that fat's not bad, meat's not bad.
All right, so is there anything that you eat that does make you feel guilty?
Yeah, every time, not every time, but when I eat too many pork rinds, I always end up feeling guilty. I don't know what it is about pork rinds, but I can eat a lot of them, and then after I eat a lot of them, they kind of make my stomach feel upset. I've made that mistake a few times while I've been on carnivore, and I get so frustrated with myself every time I make the mistake, because I'm like, oh, I tell myself I'm not gonna make the mistake again, and then I eat the pork rinds and I keep eating and I'm like, oh my goodness, I know I'm gonna feel bad about this later, but then I keep eating. I don't know what it is about them. Does anybody else have that problem with pork rinds? Should I just lay off the pork rinds? I think one of the biggest benefits that I have experienced from carnivore is the healthy weight gain. I was severely underweight before starting carnivore. I think my BMI was around like 13, and I've managed to gain a good amount of weight so far on carnivore. I still have a ways to go. I still have fat to gain. I still have muscle to gain. But I've gained weight so far, and objectively I know it's healthy, but my eating disorder, it tells me that I'm getting fat, you know? I'm starting to notice the weight gain a lot more in like the recent week, and that's been making me feel more anxious, I think. So I think it's been contributing to a little bit of extra anxiety. You know, I'm actually starting to like the way that I'm looking, the way that my body is looking. But yeah, I'm starting to like the way that I look. There's just this little voice in my head, this irrational fear that's telling me, yes, I like the way I look now, but what if in the future I don't like the way that I look? And that's just something that's been really kind of hard for me to deal with in the past couple of days. I don't know, it's been kind of tough.
What is helping you? Are there any questions that you're asking yourself? Or anything that's helping you to kind of override the fear that the eating disorder is kind of trying to hammer into you?
Some things that are kind of help overriding those thoughts are, you know, I mean, listening to Kelly Hogan has kind of helped. My mom's been listening to some of her podcasts the past few days, and she's been saying some things that are actually really, really helpful. Like, she's been talking about like leptin resistance and how her carnivore journey and how she lost weight and gained weight on it, but over time her body did even out. And so that's something that's been helping me kind of calm those irrational fears. I know they're irrational, it's just they're still there, you know. Initially, it was really hard to commit to going carnivore because I was really afraid of giving up the things that aren't carnivore friendly. Before, I would always have like, lots of fruits and veggies, and I really, really loved eating fruits and veggies. Like I would eat berries all the time, and corn, and green beans, and apples, and I loved them. When I was considering going carnivore, I would say, oh yes, I would love to go carnivore. It's just the fat scares me, and giving up the carbs and the fruits that I love and the vegetables that I love scares me. And so I really think that was maybe one of the hardest parts about going carnivore, was giving up those foods that I knew that I loved. I found that within the first couple of days of going carnivore, I wasn't really missing them all that much. Like I sat down to dinner one night, I had a big T-bone steak. I didn't find myself wanting anything else. I just wanted the steak. So I'm not really missing the things that I thought I would really be missing on carnivore, which is great.
Well, what sources do you go to for learning about carnivore?
Over the past 50 days, I've been learning like a lot more about this way of eating and like low carb and ketosis and that sort of things. And I've been listening to a lot of Dr. Barry, Dr. Anthony Chafee, been watching a lot of Homestead House videos. Dr. Sean O'Mara, me and my mom, we've listened to a lot of his stuff, and that stuff is really interesting. So yeah, there's so many great resources out there, and doctors on YouTube who are they're providing good info, and I've been learning so much from them. I've been learning about like carbs and insulin resistance and ketosis and that sort of thing. Oh yeah, Dr. Ben Bickman as well. Yeah, he's cool. And I've been learning so much about this stuff that it's like, at this point, I don't think I could ever go back to the way I was before I started carnivore, because before I was restricting my calories and eating low-fat meat, lots of vegetables, lots of fruit. But I've learned that restricting calories is actually like really, really bad for your metabolic health, and it actually destroys your metabolism. I've learned that carbs cause you to become insulin resistant, and I've learned about the lectins and the oxalates in vegetables and in fruits, just all the toxins that plants have. And so, I mean, at this point I know too much. I don't think I could ever go back to the way I was eating before with a clean conscience,
Even though that you are sometimes, your eating disorder wants you to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, there are definitely times when my eating disorder is kind of telling me, oh, you should go back, you should stop doing this, you should stop gaining weight. But objectively, I've learned so much that I can't go back to the way things were. So yeah, it's been a great 50 first days. The first couple of weeks were a little tough because I think I did have a little bit of the keto flu. So I was having some headaches, some nausea, But after I got over that, things started getting better really quickly. I'm still kind of getting the hang of things when it comes to carnivore, I think, and I'm still trying to learn, intuitive eating, hunger cues, fullness cues. My body's having a hard time getting those fullness cues, which is okay because I need to gain weight right now anyway, and I'm giving time for my body to get more attuned to those signals. So, things are going great. It's been a great first 50 days, and I hope the next 50 days are even better. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you to everyone who supports me. Thank you to all my subscribers. I'm so happy that I hit 1K. I'm really excited for what the future holds. Please like and subscribe and share. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and go eat some meat. Bye.